It's an NGO that supports people dealing with infertility, couples dealing with infertility. So they provide IVF funding for those that cannot afford it. And they also provide emotional support, provide support for adoption or surrogacy, whichever alternative they choose to go through. And I always MC their conference for the past 5 years. I'm a partner and a volunteer, and I'm just saying this boldly because there are many families dealing with infertility, and there is a long list. Over 100 families are waiting, and they cannot get the surgery because the money is not enough. And I'm sure once I say it now, people will join the queue again, that they want to be beneficiaries of the fully paid for IVF, but we need more support. We need more partners to join. Then I was at Ziba Resort on Thursday for the Conscious Manifestation Conclave. Deep. Let's just say I had a very packed weekend, and I'm grateful to God for everything that happened over the weekend.
Wow, interesting. How are you doing?
Yeah, I had a rested weekend as well, but Sunday was splendid. So it was Senior Pastor's Appreciation Day. It was actually his birthday, Pastor Paul Adefrasin. And the service was just to appreciate him and all the impact he has made in the lives of members and a whole lot of people. There was, pastors from all over the states came, to support. And when they mentioned the pastor from Owerri, they will clap. Pastor from this, they will clap. They mentioned one pastor from Port Harcourt. They scream in the clap. I was wondering,
who is this person?
Who is this person? Who is this person? And he came, I just mentioned his name and went back. I was like, why are they clapping? I didn't see anything. I didn't know that the pastor was the one to preach when he started.
It was fire.
Hey! Understanding transitions. When he started, I was screaming at the back. That man was loaded. Now I understood why he got a lot of accolades. But aside from that, there were a lot of other presentations. The children's department wowed me. Their spoken word appreciated the pastor. The teenagers department. In fact, when they finished, on our way back, my daughter was like, Mommy, I think I want to join the choir. I said, hallelujah!
Children will shine in those places.
Hallelujah. It was a fun time in the presence of God. I really enjoyed it, yeah.
I love that you're enjoying that church.
I am, actually. It's just my backyard. How's your weekend?
Yeah,
I saw you partying.
For Friday, I was in out of state in Abeokuta for the Southwest Youth Summit. Thank you. I had to speak there. It was really interesting to support them there. And Saturday morning, I was here working. And then in the evening, the boys were playing Nigeria 2-0 to Cameroon. It was a fantastic match. I loved, we were at Exporter. We had a partnership with Exporter, the beautiful game show hosted by Mike. We had a partnership with Exporter. So we're there on the team to watch the football match. I was dressed in my jersey. I was really excited. It was a good time to watch the match. The guys played really phenomenal on Saturday.
Far better than before.
And yes, I was so proud of them. So Sunday, I had a party. My cousin's birthday, she was 40. Joko Adebi was 40 on Sunday. So we had a party, had a blast, had fun. So many activities, but I thank God, for some time to be with family. Yeah. Let's go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation, though there's no story here. New minimum wage hope rises for workers. Sanctioned Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger quit ECOWAS. Federal government's economic reforms yielding results, says Minister. And federal government vows to recover unpaid royalties from miners. Okay, which story we're taking in the nation?
So, sanctioned Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger quit ECOWAS. So these three countries have grouped themselves into what they call the Sahel nation. They've decided to bring a crisis to our almost 50-year-old economic community of West African states, which is ECOWAS. They are pulling out of it over what they call a disagreement over the rejection of military rule in West Africa by the ECOWAS. They insist that, you know, the present ECOWAS is being influenced by Western states, and as such, they refuse out to project Africa or West African interest clearly. They have decided that they said ECOWAS is under the influence of foreign powers, and they are betraying the founding principles and have become a threat to member states and the population whose happiness they were created to ensure. They said presently struggling with jihadist violence and poverty. The relations between the regimes and ECOWAS have been ruptured. And following their coup that happened for Niger, happened in July last year, Burkina Faso in 2022, and that of Mali in 2020, ECOWAS had to take a stand. But, you know, it's affecting them. The three of them are they are along the Sahel, the Sahara Desert within Africa, and they're pulling out. I'm hoping that this does not completely destroy what we believe in.
Yeah.
Presently, recent years, I have not felt, you know, the influence of ECOWAS as much as I felt it as a young child back in secondary school. But this is going to even be worse than expected.
Okay, the
find a way to
Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, yesterday said that they will take measures to actualize to recover several trillions of naira unpaid royalties and taxes from licensed miners. According to him, he's going to do this in collaboration with consultants and RAMFAC, that's the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. He revealed that the federal government has put in place measures like engaging consultants to block leakages and recover funds owed by licensed miners worth trillions of naira. From their efforts so far, they're going to be getting international auditors to look through the gamut of transactions and ensure that the money owed to them is paid back. That's a lot of money, trillions of naira that has been owed by these. They're licensed, not the illegal miners. The licensed ones are refusing to pay taxes and payments to government.
All right, so the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has raised the alarm over low demand for locally produced medical syringes. The agency said that the nation's preference for importation was negatively impacting local manufacturing of the medical essentials. And it said they had gone to different factories and recovered or discovered over 1.5 billion unsold units of the product in one local factory. And according to the Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, he said that the situation was disappointing because the quality of the facilities in Nigeria's pharmaceutical companies was at par with those in the United States and European countries. So he is saying that, so they had a conversation, the Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agents, to put machinery in motion to curb importation of syringes and also have conversations with them to see how they can, that's with the syringe manufacturers, to see how they can reduce the cost of production. So I think they should also ask why people are preferring the imported syringes. I've had this conversation in the hospital some time back where I insisted on having the very slim syringe because the ones they brought to give me the injection was so fat. And they said one was local and one was imported. So if we find out why people are going for that, we can modify our own local production so that it's more, and nobody wants to allow something very big to damage your skin in the name of injections. We've moved on from that, yeah.
So there's new hope for minimum wage. They say hope is rising for workers who have been clamoring. They say there's a 37-man committee. It's a tripartite committee to negotiate and agree on the new wage. This committee would be inaugurated tomorrow. However, it's detailed. A lot of people are already, the list of people that will be in the this 37-man committee were listed. I'm not going to read through 37 names right now. But what people are saying is there are many states that are struggling to pay 18,000. They didn't even pay the 30,000. 30,000 has been the minimum wage for the past 5 years, and some states are still unable to pay it. That how would those states be able to now make whatever new wage is agreed upon? And the Labour replied to those people saying that they were now sharing 1 trillion naira. So obviously, many states are now getting more from federal allocation, and many states should wear their thinking. The state governors should wear their thinking cap and be able to ensure they pull it through and pay the minimum wage, whatever is agreed upon after this 37-man committee meets. Okay,
The Punch, very quickly. Kidnapping epidemic, tracking devices shortage hindering police probe, say sources. NDLEA declares beauty queen wanted, naps Brazil returnee. Osun Prince detained over US-based prof's murder. 40 trillion naira local government allocations diverted by governor, says Serap. Naira manufacturers plan general price hike. IRS demands Achimugu's tax returns after lavish party. And Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger yet to exit formally, says ECOWAS. Okay, which story?
You can do the major headline. So top sources in the Nigerian police force yesterday had said that there's a shortage of tracking equipment, which is hindering police investigation into kidnapping incidents in the country. And they said that the police has continued to rely on the state-of-the-art tracking device belonging to the Department of State Services, that's the DSS, which results in a long delay in investigations and arrest of abductors. So we know that there's been multiple kidnapping that has happened so far, and, you know, the police we're not able to, get these people out in good time, in record time, because they've been relying on tracking devices from the DSS. And they are also advising, said, if you need, as an individual, a citizen, if you need to get your people out immediately, you can also contact private investigators to help track. And when they track, you can now take the reports to the police to aid their work. But then they went ahead to talk about one of the reasons this isn't happening as it should, and they said that there was a superintendent of police who confided in the correspondent, saying that the key sophisticated tracking equipment actually stopped working in 2021 due to the failure of authorities to pay for subscription. And so the commissioner of police at the time, who was pushing for the payment of subscription, was no longer in charge of the technical units of the force. And so they were not paying for that. And that's why they don't have tracker to, go after this kidnappers and bandits. So this is a very painful story to hear. Though they said they are working on it, they need to work fast on it so that the police should be able to do their work independent of the DSS. It's not that you are waiting on somebody else to give you equipment to handle the work. And then they also talked about the NIN, how they are trying as much as possible to link the NIN to people's numbers, because it just makes it easy for them to be able to carry out this tracking. Yeah.
All right, let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of...
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi.
It was great.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink. No problem.
Okay.
I've always known it as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym means. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be,
Yeah. I just said, let me give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
It's final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final
You don't
answer.
have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
how many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now. Ladies and gentlemen, Made Kuti in the view. It's still 7 of 7, and we've been doing a whole lot of protesting. The only thing that remains is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 or 7 to be honest, because ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We will not give you the time because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No.
About neuroplasticity.
And based on
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Another story?
So, yes, I have the story. We're talking about the NDLEA and how they've declared a beauty queen wanted. They also nabbed someone coming in from Brazil. This particular beauty queen won the title of Miss Commonwealth in Nigeria in 2015 to 2016. Her name is Oluwadamilola. So they got information that she was selling a synthetic strain of cannabis, and they went to her house, but before they got to her house, she escaped. They found 606 grams of cannabis loud, and they found an electric weighing scale and a large quantity of drug packaging plastics. They also found her car and picture frames, among others, and they said that they've now declared her wanted. They also, in a separate operation, they found out a man. He was coming in from Sao Paulo through Ethiopian Airlines, and he had ingested 1,200 kilogram pellets of drugs. They said that when they found him, they wanted him to go through body scan. And he did not want it, but they, however, took him to a corner and waited for him to excrete, and they observed, and they found 60 wraps of Class A drug weighing 1.2 kilogram. 1.2 kilogram is heavy inside one person's body. And I'm really happy that NDLA keeps declaring we keep seeing the result of their good works, and we're hoping that this will serve as a deterrent for others. We're also expected to see some kingpins being caught this year. That's all.
Okay, let me take this. Go ahead.
Have the human interest, the Oshun,
Very sad story.
US-based professor who was murdered allegedly on the instructions of an Osun priest. So according to his personal assistant, Hafiz Lawa, who claimed everything happened in his presence, said that they had returned from Ogun State from the chieftaincy title bestowed on the governor, and then they came to attend the 50th coronation of the Ogiyan of Ejigbo, Oba Ayo Oyeyode Oyesosin, and after that, they were about to leave when the son of the Ogiyan asked them to go to his house along the road in Ejigbo for a brief meeting. 3 people went for that meeting, and when they finished, they all dispersed and they were entering into their cars when they heard the prince that invited them shout, "Release." Apparently, he was addressing a local hunter on the premises, and that one supposedly was supposed to shoot in the air, but shot at the prof's leg. He was rushed to the hospital while he was bleeding. They kept going from hospital, but he couldn't get proper medical care, and he died from the bleeding of the gunshot. Now, the police spokesperson in Osun State is speaking, saying that she confirmed an update on it. She said the incident occurred yesterday. She gave time and everything, and said the prince has been arrested because he was his instruction to one of his civilian guards, one Ahmed Abdul-Jalili, that he should fire the double-barrel gun into the air to confirm if the gun was in good condition or not. But, he then shot at the prof's leg.
Really sad story indeed.
Yes, sad one. But sadly in the story, they said as the guy who shot the prof was trying to leave, the aides held him down and shot him. That one I didn't experience, because now we don't even have proper accounts. But I know the prince is most likely will be on trial for manslaughter.
What's even worse is that they couldn't get a dog at the hospital.
Yes.
They said there's no proper hospital in Ejigbo, and it's inside the story. In the Osun, that Osun is not such a village. It's not a village now.
Exactly. So that in itself is an indictment on the government itself. Let me take this story. FCT, the FCT IRS, that's the Internal Revenue Service, put on their X concerning the birthday party of Aisha Achimogu to provide details of her annual tax returns after her lavish party. So I saw the videos and where she was spraying hundreds and thousands of dollars, right? I thought what's the big deal? When I read the story,
give us details.
The auntie.
Sister, you pack hands.
I pack hand for her.
You pack hand down.
Said that her guests were reported to have stayed in this place called I think it's Chival, the Kalivigny Island, an 80-acre private and exquisite location that cost $132,000 per day. They spent $926,000 for the week, 7 days in total. They rented that 80-acre private exquisite location for the party. It started from the 16th and ended on the 23rd of February. There was a themed, luxurious glitz and glam, and the guests had a fantastic time. And they said, okay, nice that you did the videos, but please show that you actually pay your taxes and you filed your returns.
Yes, now, the proper thing, that's the right thing. It's not only IRS that should be on the
FIRS.
No, it's not. It's not the tax.
FIRS is out.
It's not only them. The EFCC should be on the matter. Every untraceable source of wealth should be.
We shouldn't assume there's not traceable.
No. I didn't know. She's not Dangote. So please follow the money. I want to know.
The governor was in Grenada, let's be clear, but the spokesperson said that he went there to present if you remember the train, I saw the picture, where he actually was there. Let me the story.
Which governor?
Our governor. So look, so you go to the party.
The matter link.
Wait, the link small. Wait, just sign it. Lagos State Governor was in Grenada presenting a miniature of the Blue Line train to the Grenadian Prime Minister Dixon Michel. That's what he went there for. However, it just so happened that there was a party. Social event just came today. Might as well. So that was just it. No link too much. Just there for.
Let's continue. Off mic.
So the Daily Sun. Let's find a story. Not taking Tinubu playing politics, not governance. Says SDP presidential candidate Adebayo. NDLA declares ex-beauty queen wanted over illicit drugs. Ex-militant negotiator proposes 30-day plan to reduce insecurity. 70% of Nigeria's food products rejected abroad, says NAFDAC. Vehicle dealers cry out over inflation. Mango killings, what we want Speaker Abbas to discuss with Tinubu, says Rep. And call on NNPC leaders to join APC. Ganduje determined to end politics of bitterness, says Aid. Okay, which story in turn?
Still on NAFDAC. So the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control are lamenting the negative response, which is often accompanying Nigeria's food and agricultural products exported to the European Union and other countries of the world. And they said that Nigeria loses billions of naira annually in foreign trade that could have benefited its people in terms of financial power and logistics empowerment. And about 70% of the food products export are rejected because they do not go through NAFDAC regulatory assessment. So in a statement yesterday, the Director General, Mojisola Adeyeye, was the one who talked about this, and he was at the meeting with members of the Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agents, ANLCK, in Lagos. And they said that they had analyzed what has been going on, and they found that EU observed that most rejected products by the EU failed relevant tests, and they were not having the right documentations and certifications. And so she went ahead to explain that the international market is competitive in nature and only welcomes products of high quality with relevant certifications and, quality packaging that is also environmental friendly. And so these manufacturers need to collaborate with bodies that would help them, have proper packaging and also help them get proper results and certifications before they, export their product outside, so that we can make money as a nation and also represent ourselves better. Right. Also add, because we're also in this NAFDAC business now these days because of some of the products that I have, that they make it seamless enough for manufacturers to be able to get get the desired attention. Sometimes you make a file for your products to be, examined and then come for this. They take a long time to respond. Your products are just there waiting, right. And some of these products expire while they are waiting for, documentation and all of that. So just make it seamless for the businesses, and I think we'll be good.
Can wrap up. I don't have more time. Just one story quickly.
No, it's okay.
We'll move on to Vanguard. Let's just. Corrupt governance responsible for insecurity banditry in North, says VP. Excuse me. Insecurity, we're taking flight to criminals then, says FG. If Tinubu misses this opportunity, Nigeria is gone, says Pa Adebanjo. And forex crisis, high import duty, depressed vehicle and other imports.
Please, so the Vice President was speaking at the 10th annual Sir Hamadu Bello Foundation lecture, which is hosted by the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum in Maiduguri, and he was represented, but he spoke about the fact that corruption is part of the corruption and poor governance is the reason for kidnapping and the banditry we're seeing in the north. While he was speaking, another group of people, the Southern Kaduna Christian Leaders Association, representing them, raised the plea to the military that they should please secure the lives of the Christian community living in Southern Kaduna, that there's a lot of attack going on and their lives are at risk. But the conversation all through was that if our leaders are selfless, if people receive good governance, there will be less reasons for people to commit crime, right, such as kidnapping and banditry.
That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Gbenga Adeyinka the First. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Gbenga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the questions.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata bata, I go drink. So.
Okay. So now one chance for Inter. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
Of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this, because I have this question for you. Final question. Where outside Nigeria and what here? I think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking because I know back in the day.
Don't think, oh, don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer. Okay. I said, God, please, let me to perform outside Nigeria.
Wait.
And God gave me a show in Ghana. Drink, my friend, drink. I don't
overthink this thing. See where I can.
Yes, you overthink them.
I would say you should catwalk.
Let's catwalk now. Where are we?
No, that's not catwalking.
That's good walking.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
John want to work with.
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Laifa had a very, very interesting.
You wouldn't want to work with who?
Not There's no judgment.
No, and I respect,
they'll judge you definitely,
I respect
but we won't
this
judge
certain
you.
type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
resentment
on you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. My just come out with you, pay me at the end of the month, and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see.
Thanks for staying with us. So there's a trending video on social media where the new Kogi deputy governor prostrated. Now that's not the story we're taking. We're taking another story concerning the fact that, let me take that story here. The Bayelsa state government has said it's going to be working on plans to make the teaching and learning of Ijaw, French, and Chinese languages, as well as science and mathematics, a priority in public schools and the state. It stated that the essence of emphasizing the teaching of the three languages was the core science subjects, including mathematics, was to prepare and equip children to take full advantage of career opportunities in those subjects. The deputy governor disclosed this during a courtesy visit by the state chapter of the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria in Government House in Yanagwa. He explained that China in global affairs is a major state actor on world commerce, justified, and the inclusion of the Chinese as a subject in the school is something that is important for the curriculum. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with him? Because many Many years ago, when French was initially introduced into our curriculum, then this same conversation was had. Like, why would you want to bring French? You know, it was more important for parents at the time thought that English was more important than French. What are your thoughts on this? What do you make of this positioning of Bayelsa State in this kind of situation? Please call us on the numbers on your screen: 081-0764-1679, 0902416340. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. So, Mandarin is something that many schools have been teaching as an elective or something you just choose. But this is a state saying that, listen, it's going to become mandatory because they feel that China in itself is a major player in the world economy, and there'll be lots of economic interactions between them and us. And it's time for us to position our children to be able to communicate in that language. What are your thoughts? Let me start with the Tokwe.
I was just like, Inside all of the problems worrying the children of Bayelsa State, Mandarin is the least, scale of preference.
And French.
We need to think about what is most important, where are we putting our money, and what is the return on the investment we are making. Every money the government spends is an investment. Every school fees, every salary is an investment. What is the return on that investment? Bayelsa is an oil-producing state. For me, priority should be placed on giving skills to people, not teaching them to speak Mandarin. AI and technology. I can speak English and you will hear Mandarin with technology just through my phone. So when we have technology that allows me to communicate with anybody, the Chinese person you are trying to understand his language does not even understand English, yet he's making money all around the world. Language is the least of our worries. Our worries should be on critical thinking, productivity, creativity, teaching children to solve local problems, not to teach them to understand another language.
I think you finished this.
Let's just go home.
Okay, because that's really it.
Well, she don't talk the tech, but it's so disappointing that you have somebody in key position who, I always say, it cannot reflect the history of their people proudly. It is not forward thinking. For you to extinguish your people through their language, let them guess their culture, second guess their culture, and doubt themselves as dignified humans. That's what language did to us. I remember being beaten blue-black for French. Till date, it's a language I just hear on the passing. I carry dictionary from just 1 to 3. Really, I don't know what. And I did not know that I was just being punished unnecessarily. Even this English we are smoking is deliberately... I watered it down because I just don't feel the identity. For someone who was born outside place and had to learn the Esako language in Lagos, and to think that's where my root is. Imagine if I had lost that. Imagine that. And we're here now where Lagos is advancing and compulsorily teaching Yoruba language so their kids who are born do not doubt themselves as Yoruba people. You are introducing a foreign language, telling your people again, the way English has done, that they are not enough. The children should now be taught in Ijaw language and, made to proudly own the Ijaw language. Where you see children speaking pidgin of their language, broken phrases of their language, incorrect structure of their own mother tongue, and he's not bothering the leadership of the state. Where you say he's forward thinking, you are thinking for yourself.
I think bother the parents.
The parents have no choice. They are speaking it at home and thinking the child will just automatically pick it.
Yeah.
But the school, who should be teaching them all those things we call national values, self-goal, all of that, is now saying is Mandarin and French. French.
Don't come by.
If I can understand Mandarin.
Plus English that we're struggling to even get.
French, long.
Let's look at the economic benefits that he's projected. The fact that, listen, we're going to be engaging this country. Let me come to you, BC. Your thoughts.
I just think that a leader must pay attention to the needs of the people per time. And in a bit to show that we are woke, we know what's happening in the world, sometimes we forget the needs of our people. We forget the succor we're supposed to give our people. We forget the integrity we are supposed to build in our people in finding some of those things. So personally, I do not have a problem with trying to teach Mandarin, right? But it should not be mandatory. It should be something that you could suggest and make it an elective so children will have an array of options. You say you want the local languages, you must have one local language in the school. You must learn one local language and one foreign language in addition to English. It's something that you just make open, and you will see that some students will actually go for it, and other students may say, no. I have a son who has refused to learn any of those languages in the school, and I've been trying to pep talk him, I've been trying to force him. He's not even listening to me. He tells me he's good as he is, and there's nothing I can do. My daughter, on the other hand, picked up the Mandarin language, and she was doing well, only for us to hear that they have stopped teaching that for whatever reason. But I would like that the government comes into conversation with these Chinese people to say, okay, we would like to introduce this, but not at our cost. Are you willing to come in with your resources and have this as an option? Not that we use state funds to bring this to us. Looking at what we need per time in the States. How many, can we have the statistics of how many out-of-school children are there in Bayelsa State? Do we have the statistics of their classrooms, how equipped these classrooms are to even learn the basics, mathematics and English, before you now want to bring in another foreign language? So there's nothing wrong in it, in my own view, but it's how it should be arranged that would further show us that the government has us. Has our interest at heart.
Let me link this to this popular one. I want my children to learn STEM. STEM here, STEM there. Well, it's only STEAM now. They added arts to it, to make it STEAM, Science. And we see these things, and people just come up with these policies. Okay, let's start doing, let everybody incorporate it. And you're thinking to yourself, what kind of needs assessment was carried out? As a nation, what we need per time? Because a country that is doing STEAM or doing STEM in their country, their education has gone to a level where they are beginning to incorporate their children to start building and creating certain things. Where are we? So we constantly try to force our children to do these things. Maybe we're not even mentally, emotionally even ready. Or even, I don't want to say cerebrally ready, because we can't be. But the point is that we force these things because it's being done internationally. Oh, STEAM is the biggest trending. Chinese is trending. Very soon now, Italian will be trending. Or is this South Korean language? We just want to do everything internationally. Have we looked within to say, okay, what exactly are our own needs assessments?
So I have
what
no
exactly do
problem
we believe that we are?
With STEM or STEM, because per time, the world will look towards a way. At one time, it was inventions, science that brought in all the cars and all of that. It didn't affect the culture of the people. But I grew up learning that language can be weaponized. It can be weaponized to force the people to assimilate. For those of us who did government back in school, the systems that the colonies were used, they used to conquer the colonies, to sever the bonds between the older generation and the younger one, to create an identity crisis where the younger ones didn't want to do or understand the history of the old was, language. You come and we don't, what is helping the Chinese, the Mandarin we are talking about, because they sustain their language. That's why the culture is so strong. They focused on innovations, sustained their culture. Language is such a core part of culture that you cannot joke with it. And if you find someone who doesn't have a grip of that in government, in leadership, there's a problem. That person already is affected by that identity crisis. So Bayelsa government can say STEM is the new way to go. We want us to be the headquarters of innovations and technology in Nigeria, and we are looking at this generation between the next 10 years and Guinea-Bissau years to focus on this. You will not take away the Ijaw man in the Ijaw person. From that, you will be building young Ijaw innovators that will go out in the world, and the world will say, let's use an interpreter because this is the person that has the knowledge.
But can we do both?
No.
We cannot do both.
Why can't we? Let me explain. Priorities. We don't have the money. And even the money we have, when you have money,
even if money day, even if money day, even if we have all the money in the world, even if, what is important is to raise young ones who will not call Nigeria a whatever hole. That is in the language, what they consume from TV, that makes them think. To eat from a earthen pot. It was bad. I think whereas now we have used our non-stick pot to cause cancers.
Exactly. I think
we don't love what we have. We don't appreciate anything we have.
About the identity thing, because we shouldn't gloss over it. no matter how well trained I am, no matter how much I think I speak English, if I go to England, I am still not an English person. I am still inferior. But nobody can speak Yoruba and make me feel inferior if that is my primary language. For every time you are learning to be like somebody else, you would always be confronted with the fact that you are not enough because you are not. You are not them. Why is China and the language of Chinese relevant to the world now? Because they created innovations around that traveled and transcended. So if we train our people to create innovations, speak your PG, speak your Wafi, speak your local dialect, but innovate, and we will support you with the funds necessary.
What I was going to add to that conversation is that even language amplifies understanding to a certain point. So if you set in like all these innovations we're looking for, if they are taught in your local language, there's a possibility that you won't create better because now you understand why this is x plus 2x means this. You understand it in your language. Maybe it gives that understanding helps you to create. So when you now begin to create, your economy becomes expands more for them to now say, okay, let's go and learn the job. To go and see if we can understand, get their people to come and work with us. But let me come in.
So I don't think the idea is to wipe off our identity. It may be there at the subconscious level where we already feel that way, we act that way without even knowing. So I like your conversation. I like the conversation, and I like how you are, expanding the ideas for us to understand what our core identity is. However, I know that language fosters businesses. So I was in the UK last year, and I walked into a store, and a Chinese man in the UK African store was speaking Yoruba to me. They learned, in fact, all of them, the one selling fish, the one selling meat, all of them, they were speaking Yoruba, greeting us and, having a ball, speaking the language. And Oga was responding because me and Yoruba, we are still learning understanding one another. So they had to learn that language for trade. And it took me back to the time we were vast in trade, where our people were traveling, even those people selling mangala fish from tribe to tribe, and how they learned other people's languages to boost their business and their conversation. So let's look at it from that angle. To understand what the government is trying to do. However, the manner in which they are doing it, we can always readjust. I like which that. Is, first of all, to ensure that we are grounded in our own identity. But children have the capacity to learn up to 6 languages. At the same time, their brain can take it. Right? So we can expand it. You have your identity as an Ijo person, but you can also, if you're interested, you can learn more languages.
Let me take this
call. It will boost you.
Let me take this call from James. James, thanks for calling. You're live. Hello, James?
Yes.
Go ahead, please. You're live.
Morning, friends.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you all?
Very well.
We're doing amazing.
All right. This topic is a very interesting one.
It is.
I think Nigerians have, our leaders, so to speak, have run out of ideas. What happened to technical schools? I believe that technical schools could have been better. You understand? Now, Nigerians have pidgin language. Pidgin language. Can't we promote our own pidgin language? Must we promote Chinese? I have a friend that works in Chinese company that has been in Chinese for many years. You understand? And this friend, most times you speak Chinese in the same company we're working, most times they have issues. We ask them, he said, these people are very tribalistic. They only feel with their people. They only treat their people well. But when it comes to other colors, other nations, they don't treat us well. So what happens to technical school? How can I speak Chinese? The Cameroonians that speak French, are they better than us?
Exactly.
Go to another market that people don't even know how to write your name. They'll give you a receipt to write your name. They are making money. You speak English and they are making money. So it's not about language. It should have been something that they should reintroduce technical schools. Train us in a technical way. Let us use our language too.
Thank you very much, James. But you see, you can't give what you don't have.
I wanted to say to what BC said that, learning the language through trade is something you do from a place of core a well-concrete identity. My grandfather, I still say it, traded far into the southeast, down into the north. And at his burial, we had different people coming. What language did they speak? You will see people who, if you go on the Hajj, my mom, when she went on the Hajj, said somebody from India was selling jollof rice and they were laughing and they were speaking, they would speak passable Yoruba to them because they know they are Nigerian, they have the Nigerian corner. They were cooking Nigerian foods. Now we will come here and think that it is okay to start from basic. For a child, the danger is in the classes that they're choosing. If the children grow up into an age where, if you go to any foreign country, the Dutch countries and all this, the first thing you learn is their language. If you go to Russia, the first thing you finish from is language before you can get a degree in their state. It's good because you are adult. Wole Soyinka did not become a Nobel knowledge from 18 Yoruba or speaking it passively. He speaks good Yoruba. He speaks good English. He understood his mother tongue first before he picked up the next language, and he makes it better. Moreau talks about how Mr. Brown speaks good English. Yes, his first language was Yoruba. That's the point itself. He was a very full-formed adult, grounded, convinced in his person and identity before he chose, okay, let me, whether I can, you know, the way we now form is those ones that are picking, English is my first language. They will speak something to you, will look lost. Language takes a while. I was over 13 before I could say proper good morning and a response in my language.
Let me take this call from Rotimi. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
This is very interesting topic. Yeah, I think in Nigeria today, the majority of our political space, they lack idea of what the people actually need. They don't actually have hearing or connection with the people's desire. Over the years that we have been crying that Nigerian government has expunged history from our educational curriculum. I have my primary school in Cameroon. I did history in primary school. I did geography in primary school. This gives me broad knowledge about the entire continent called Africa and those colonial institutions that came into Africa to exploit Africa. Now, in the 21st century, we abandon our own language. Instead of going to speak our language, speak our own curriculum. Some of our people in Lagos, they don't do Yoruba. Some of them do Igbo. They don't do Hausa in their secondary school. But they now want to introduce Chinese language. How many Chinese do we have in Nigeria? How many of our people transact business?
Thank you very much, Rotimi. See, but the truth is that
that governor also added that Ijaw language should be taught compulsory.
Now we counted the three: Ijaw, French, and Mandarin.
That
even cost is balance from basic 1 to 6. Can you teach only Ijaw? Along with the already existing English, that's already a problem.
The methods that we can now advise on.
Not to say cancel this, that you are even thinking to increase the burden. At this stage, with 2 other foreign languages, is that you're not seeing the problem.
It's not increasing the burden, Nima.
Now increasing the burden.
So there's also the part about skilled hands. Currently, if you talk to teachers in school, we don't have enough language teachers. We don't have enough Igbo teachers, we don't have enough Yoruba teachers that understand the language thoroughly, that can teach it. We don't have enough history teachers. We don't have enough, even when it comes to geography. I love geography so much. I did it in SS1 and SS2. By SS3, the 2 geography teachers in my secondary school, they had left. So we didn't do geography in SS3 because we didn't have geography teachers. Till date, we still don't have. There are subjects, I know the person that did my hair when I was traveling, she's studying chemistry. Education chemistry, and she wasn't planning to use it. She said everybody in their department they are just studying the chemistry education just because they need to finish school. They don't plan to use it. So we already have existing problem. We shouldn't create extra problem by looking for teacher that now understands how to speak Mandarin to teach Mandarin. Let us solve the problem that we have. Order of priority. Okay? Face the problems you have. If you ask the students in your state, all the students to tell you what they need most, I'm sure the list will be how to speak Mandarin.
I have to go on a break, but I think we're done with this conversation. And the thing is that, you see, I was saying earlier that you can't give what you don't have. People know the learning parts, and this deputy governor is proposing this. This is based on his own knowledge. Remember, we're Nigerians. We're all the same people. So it's not like he brought one special brain to become deputy governor. This is their own proposition, and now hopefully with these conversations that we're having, let them rethink and reweigh the options. The truth is that there's more to do, and it's more important for us to learn our identity and be grounded in it before you can learn additional languages. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll try to get in 1 more topic before we go to our guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect
Gentlemen, from pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni, Yeni, Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger!
Lagos is the most visited state in Africa, as the 5th largest economy on the continent. Covering the state and its government is no mean feat. It's a busy bee.
Thanks for staying with us. So, pandemonium erupted at Araromi Ilugbo Secondary School in Okwafo, Lagos, as pupils of the school protested the demise of one of their colleagues who was allegedly flogged to death by a teacher. The incident was said to have occurred on Thursday when the deceased, identified as David Babadipo, was allegedly flogged by the teacher, whose name was given as Oluwale. Really, really painful story. The video was went out on Friday, and the voice in the background could be heard narrating that the deceased people wanted to go out to purchase something when he was allegedly flogged by the teacher. Really, really sad. So let me start with you, Nima. I mean, this is one of those situations where there's really no two sides to this story. You know? No matter what happens, the teacher was obviously
I'm wondering how did he even flog the child to death? You know, one stroke or a thorough punishment, use one cane, bring 10K, hold him hands out spread him on the table, what kind of beating did he think, do to this child? But as it is now, we have a manslaughter possible charge against him. He will be chilling on vacation.
Inside the cell.
Inside the cell while waiting. So other teachers should start to think more constructive ways to correct a child. There are very, very many constructive ways, which is one of them most important of all is to mentor that child. A child who looks up to you, who finds something to look up to, will not disrespect you. But this fast way, the shortest way is to beat, which teachers do, should, and even parents too. Should be
going further by the reports, if you read here, there's another person on Facebook says that, let me see if the people have a name. A Facebook user, Esther, also refuted the claim that the people was flogged to death, adding that the name of the teacher given was that of the school's vice principal. So Mr. Uluwale is the vice principal. He didn't beat him for not paying attention in class. According to this Facebook user, Esther, that child has been sick since Tuesday, and the parent didn't take him to the hospital. It got worse yesterday afternoon after the break, and they called his parents to come pick him up. Well, we don't know the details. So the government has actually requested for an investigation to be carried out to know exactly the root cause of this death.
They will do an autopsy. I know that Nigerians, when we hear of stories of a child being beaten to death or anything that causes a child to die, we no longer reason or follow whatever the autopsy comes up with. We will follow social media reports. Please, I would like to, my heart goes out to the family. Nobody wishes this to happen to their child, and I would want us to wait to get the autopsy results and let us talk based on the autopsy results. So that we are not, because I remember the story, they just buried Sylvester over the weekend. And it still came up on social media, and they are saying, oh, the autopsy is a lie, it was manipulated. 2 different autopsy results lied so that the government can be free. No, let us put our emotions, yes, feel your emotion, but let us take the autopsy result. But I want to discuss the flogging, because I was flogged. I was flogged and flogged and flogged.
So what? We are packing this issue.
Yes.
Right? We're not saying, we're not sure of the facts. We are packing it. Now we're going to the flogging in general. Even indeed it was flogging. Okay, let's go to that.
So for me, flogging is the lowest hanging fruit. Flogging is a frustration way of expressing, the frustration of the parent, the teacher, at an action carried out by a minor. Dictionary. Because I have been, with the level of enlightenment I have exposed myself to, when my children act out and I find myself wanting to take out the whip or take out I have to check myself to say, why do you want to? Would this is a way of me easing my frustration, not necessarily correcting that child. And if we look back to all the history of flogging that has taken place, it is easing frustration, not correcting the child. So here's what I did the last time it happened in my house. So my son now has understood how to scrub and mop on a punishment kind of level. Every room, every floor space in my house and every wall space in the bathroom was washed by my son over the weekend, like on Saturday and Sunday, twice, everywhere as punishment. Because I wanted to beat him. It was a major, what he did was bad. I was vibrating. And I said, no, I'll not beat you. It's escape. Because if I beat you, you will cry and that's it. But you are going to sweep this house to stupor and you will scrub this house to stupor. So he did that. And I achieved it. Because when he finished scrubbing this one, I told him, yes. I made him understand, why did you do this? I called him, why did you do this? When I showed up yesterday, I told him, why did you do this? So he understood it. But flogging would have helped me to release my pent-up frustration on the fact that he did not obey me, while not achieving the goal of correcting him from getting the message. So teachers do that a lot in school. So we need to now find, what can I do to this boy that will get him? Or to this girl, because I have boys, so I'm using an example of boys.
So I grew up being flogged every day at home and in school. There's no day I don't collect.
You were collecting back to back?
I was collecting at home and in school every day. Like, that's my childhood memory. Wow. There's no day they don't beat me at home and then the teacher will flog me in school. And I remember one of the flogging I received, I was sick for a week afterwards because this English teacher, I can never forget her. At the time, she wasn't married, she didn't have any child, and she was already old, getting old at that time. And so everybody just saw her as a very wicked person because of the way she would squeeze your stomach. Yes, it was her form of, she was an English teacher. I don't want to call the name of the school. Squeeze your stomach.
From the navel,
yes, from the navel. Squeeze that stomach. She will hold you to her thighs and squeeze. You will be screaming. Yes, that was her form of punishment at the time. And then this particular day, I can't even remember exactly what I did. Because you see what punishment does when it's given in frustration. Even the child cannot remember what the child is being punished for. I can't tell you exactly what I did today, but I remember that punishment. She used a very long stick, flogged me so much. I had like those very large marks. My skin was torn, and I went home, and I was sick for a week before I resumed. Wow. Yes, I can't even remember why my father didn't go and fight. I think something.
He would have usually gone to fight.
God of mercy, you don't want to try that man, but he didn't go, and I just resumed school, and everything was back to normal. I just knew to avoid that particular teacher. The lesson here is just like Tokwe has said rightly. Flogging and corporal punishment is lazy parenting and lazy coaching and lazy teaching, because you're not deploying your brain. And that's why you raise young people who are not able to communicate their emotions and handle themselves in society. Everything resorts to beating. You see people park in traffic when a car hits another car, road rage, and they're fighting, they're beating, because that's all they know. That's all they have been raised to solve problems. And so there are schools which are not government schools that have banned corporal punishment. There are schools that
Lagos State Government School has banned it also, just for your information. But it's not allowed.
Okay, I don't know.
It's not allowed.
I know about private schools that have banned any form of beating. And see, if the child upsets you, send him to the naughty corner, send him out of class. And find a way to have a conversation with that child. Sometimes what we call annoying is not annoying. Children will be children. Children will be goofy. Children will play. Children will make noise in class. Some of us were considered talkatives in class. This is where, this is where the talkativeness has landed me. I'm using it to earn a living today. But imagine a child not being allowed to express at the time. So you just need to find ways.
Says, spare the rod and spoil the child.
The rod of correction is necessarily not flogging.
Even if correction was flogging, how do you flog? This child is 16, so let's assume he's dealing with teenagers, and we know how they can be.
Yeah.
But they said he was sick. Even that excuse shouldn't have discouraged the teacher from continuing.
I don't want us to go back to that because we don't have the facts yet.
This one, the fact that we have is that we don't have the fact whether while he was being beaten,
he died. Yes, we don't know that.
He was sick, that his friend said. He was beaten, that is a fact. He died, another fact. Whether they all happened together to lead to what is not a fact. Okay. So we cannot say that. But a child who was sick, should he have been beaten? No, he shouldn't have. And there are several other ways. We know young people lie, young teenagers can say, okay, I'm not feeling fine as an excuse to escape their duties. But what do you do as a parent? On Friday, I was just gisting BC and the ladies here on my son that one that cannot be beaten, on how we solved issues. So, and such a person, when you speak to them, this morning, JJ just carried this bag. I said, please don't delay me. I'm sorry, mommy, but I'm not comfortable in my shoes. I said, okay, you can just manage it. You get to your mama's house, go and pull your shoe and sort it out. But instead of delaying, we've gotten somewhere, usually before beating. But we're not achieving anything. So teachers, how do you spend time knowing? I always say to schools, let me know if you are trying to correct my child and it is a problem.
Don't beat my child.
But don't beat my child, kill for me. Thank God, beg you.
We have to go on a break. I think we're going to wrap up on this issue because, and the reason why we're wrapping up is because we're waiting for the investigation to come with the death of this young boy, and then we'll bring up the issue of beating because it's a continuous conversation. Yes. Parental and even school, the guardians in school. Some parents think it's okay to beat. I know somebody who is very confident in having his children being beaten.
By other people.
By other people. Yeah. The others are saying that they don't like it. So we'll have that conversation another. But let's go on a break. When we come back, we have to bring in our guest for this morning. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Made Kuti in the view. It's still 7 of 7, and we've been doing a whole lot of protesting. The only thing that remains is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 of 7, to be honest. Because, ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We will not give you the time because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No.
Neuroplasticity.
And based on...
He asked a question that was subjective about high life. And he did not finalize his answer about a Kuti question where there are only 3 of us.
Editor, scratch this part out.
That could have possibly composed the music.
Editor, scratch this part out.
Stupidity is an act of ignorance.
Hey God, Made.
Was composed by which Kuti?
Femi Kuti.
Is that your final answer?
God, I'm Sheon Kuti. No, wait, Femi Kuti.
You said
Femi Kuti. Wait.
It can't be allowed.
No, you've not asked me anything.
Everyone.
You've not asked me anything. So my final answer.
No. All I have to say is this show is really about drinking.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
The questions don't matter.
That's the whole
Justice
idea.
is out the window.
We throw caution to
we
the
have
wind
no
right
morals here.
On the 7 of 7. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Gbenga Adeyinka the first.
You used to be one of the ladies of Your View. You think you have what it takes to be one of us, and you're from the Northeast, Northwest, and even the Southeast. If you believe you have what it takes to be one of the ladies of Your View, post a 1-minute video of yourself telling us why you think you're going to be one of the ladies of Your View. Hashtag the ladies of Your View, and we'll love to invite you for an audition. If you make the cut, you start your journey to becoming one of the ladies of Your View. We can't wait to have you on the table. See you soon. Thanks for staying with us. So, our guest is here. Last week, we discussed the ban on the usage and distribution of styrofoam and other single-use plastics by Lagos State government. The Lagos State governor has announced since then that he's extended to 3 weeks for the enforcement of the ban. Joining us on the show is the Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources in Lagos, Honorable Tokunbo Wahab, to shed more light on this. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. So we see you've been very hardworking, up and down. We're seeing you.
Very proud of
saying styrofoam is gone now. Just like the president said, something is gone now. So, and the governor went back to say, look, let's give it a 3-week extension. But let's start from the beginning. Styrofoam. We all know all the issues surrounding its usage and the harm it has on society. But what happened with the sudden pronouncement? What exactly did you see that caused you to say it's banned almost immediately?
Okay, thank you. Morayo, this conversation had been on since 2021. It was approved by the National Environmental Council. And we said, let us give a window to engage, like a moratorium.
Okay.
So this conversation on the ban had been on since 2021 October. And it was agreed that by 2024, we must take the bold step. And Lagos took the memo to the National Environmental Council. It was our memo, and we justified it, and it was approved in Abuja. So if we had done that since 2021, why are we going to be pussyfooting on the enforcement? And with each passing day, the destruction of the ecosystem is beyond imagination. The destruction of the aquatic life, the health implication. So it's as though we are pushing the doomsday and we are kicking the can down. So for those that are saying, why it's not sudden, it's been on. And with each delay, we are getting involved, we're getting so messed up in our environment, in our health, and our aquatic life.
May I ask forum where you had this conversation?
It was National Environmental Council.
But who did you tell?
No, so did you discuss with the stakeholders, the manufacturers, the people doing the businesses? Were they carried along in this conversation?
Good question. They've been having this conversation since 2021.
Okay. With who?
With the manufacturers, with the users, with the distributors across the states. Now, let me also break it down. You see, we need to make a choice between the interest of 22 million population of Lagos, coastal states, aquatic states, and then the interest of very few business people that want to make profit. How about the health implication? There's styrene in Styrofoam. It's a major causal effect for cancer. Now, this is on the health ground. I'm not even talking about the environmental degradation, because Styrofoam are non-degradable elements. And the question again is, why are we saying it's a sudden enforcement when since 2021 it's been banned? Are you aware Abia State had banned it 2 days ago, following Lagos?
Yes.
So Abia banned it because the implications are the same.
Yeah.
But for us, it's even much more because, okay, I'll give you a practical example. New Delhi is the food capital, street food capital of the world. 33 million people, they're always sitting on the streets. They banned it. And why did they ban it? The same reason we are saying here. And I thank the governor. I thank the deputy governor. I thank the 40 members of the House of Assembly led by the Speaker. Leadership is not a tea party. Very tough decisions must be taken.
Very cerebral decisions also.
And look at Lagos. Are you proud of what you're saying? For 500 years, this thing will be in the system. 500 years.
Let me let Nima jump in.
Yes, so I'm surprised that you said since 2021. And
October.
Because the major objectors of this are the people who have invested money in importing it or producing it. They are the ones saying, so what do you want us to do with our money? So what measures have you can you say are being implemented to ensure a smooth transition to move away from this styrofoam and single-use plastics?
Very good. In the immediate, styrofoam is our major target. The other single-use plastics like cutleries, cups are going to come in within the moratorium period or maybe 6 months. But for styrofoam, we are going immediate because we've done the study. We've seen that we can't even delay or pussyfoot on the enforcement beyond 3 weeks. And the 3 weeks is to mop up those that are in the system.
Already.
Now, for those that are saying, what are we going to do with the product? There was an agreement. There's what I call the EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility. How many of them had taken steps to implement it? And by that EPR, you meant to mop up this from the system. That was part of the moratorium agreement. But none of them.
So how would the mopping up be?
Now, once you sell, you know where you sell to. And you go back and cut them away. And then you also invest in the environment. By our records, about 12 or 13 producers in Lagos. Most of them are outside the state production. In Delta, Asaba. we've done our study, and they bring them to Lagos to sell. And we've said to ourselves, should we allow this continue? You have a right to say you want to eat with Styrofoam. You have the right to say you want to make profit as a manufacturer. But you can't use that to override the interest of 22 million Lagosians.
The greater good.
It's for the greater good. And that is the choice we have to make. That's the choice about public good. And let me also break this down. Countries where they have banned them, like in Germany, in Belgium, in France, those countries have better technologies. In the US, where like 11 states have banned them, they have greater technology. If these products are recyclable, they won't have banned them. But they know the implication. We just came back to COP28 with a huge delegation from Nigeria, and we made commitments. This is the first thing we have to do to our environment to save it.
Doesn't look good at all.
It's not even about the optics. It's about the bigger implication. And we are still saying to the manufacturers, we've been in the window of 3 weeks. We've been on this convention for about 2 years plus, and we can't continue to pussyfoot. The longer it takes us, the worse we become. Look at the amount of taxpayers' fund that goes into fixing the drainages.
So, like, I hear you, and I'm saying, I'll take the financial question. So, one, last time we discussed it, when we discussed it last week when the news broke, my comment was to break down to people how not using Styrofoam, for those that are feeling like, what we used to eat, how it is saving them money and how they can start patronizing alternatives. But you just mentioned another economic impact, which is that the government is saving money that would cost us to be clearing villages and emptying out Styrofoam.
And fixing our health.
And fixing our health. We are saving that money. Have you thought about the economic, are you thinking about how this would affect the taxpayers? These are people that are in Lagos State whose business evolves around the Lagos Island woman that collects from the manufacturers and resells. Is this 3 weeks enough? Have we done enough sensitization through the Iyalojas to get them to understand that, okay, well, you stop selling this Styrofoam or start selling plastic or start selling coolers? Was there that level of engagement with the middlemen that are trading and making money from this?
Who's going to refund those women who have paid? They've already stocked up on those.
Good question. That's why we gave the window of 3 weeks. And we also said to man, when they came for the meeting, that let us even know what you have stocked up. And the value of what you have stocked up. Whatever is not measured doesn't get done. So we said to them, let us know what you have in stock, objectively. Then we can assess. That's why we gave the 3 weeks window. We are not enforcing. Okay. We're just doing strong advocacy. And the advocacy we are doing involves those distributors, involves the retailers, and those that are using them to hawk food. And they are seeing the reasons. It's a bigger picture. Is this the economy of a man that wants to do his business and make money? But how about the bigger picture for the states? The states, the 22 million citizens, trumps that minor commercial interest. It's a tough one, but we have to do it. If for 2 years plus we've been pussyfooting, and with each passing day, it's getting worse.
Let me come in for a question, because I worry if government is saying I've been engaging you since October 2021. Between that time and this time, you're saying you've spoken with the manufacturers, then who is monitoring to ensure they didn't bring this into Lagos? They're like, what? Because there are other products you're going to ban in the coming months from what you're saying. So what kind of system is put in place to ensure that we're not having this sudden shock that we get, that the system experiences? Well, it's done in phases where people know that, okay, well, I have to stop this thing, I can't produce it, I can't sell it to Lagos, I can't do this. How is it being done? What system is in place?
Mariah, the truth about our people is, if you like, give them 10 years moratorium. We are who we are. The average Nigerian believes government cannot do it. We are raising, we are not disciplined. We believe we can do some things and get away with them. And you can't do the same thing, same way, and expect a different result. That's, pardon my language, madness.
Well, you know, there's a way you can catch us, since we're peculiar.
Yes.
Because now, with this conversation you say you've been having, we can't hold it. It's not tangible because we did not see it. It was not in our faces. But the ban was not covered. The ban would be in our faces because then it affects everybody. So going forward, yes, a lot of people do parties now. They carry these things home. We know this. Take away. So going forward, especially for the other products that you will be, taking out of the market very soon. Is there any way that we can begin large sensitization of the people? It could be through the media platforms, jingles in local languages that this is bad for your health, we're taking this out so time, so that it's in the public space. Everybody's educated. Don't buy this, so go and get your cooler from home to buy the food. It becomes something that we are used to before the ban now comes. It's also a way to hold Nigerians to say, but we started this now. You have been watching, you've been hearing on the radio. We know that a day was coming like this. Is it possible?
That has been ongoing. And that will not
didn't
stop.
see you.
That has been ongoing. I can assure you it's been ongoing on radio stations and it will not stop.
Okay.
We are ready to live for the next 2-3 years, if need be. But the truth is, if we don't take this step, we'll still have to take it someday.
Yeah, true.
But it's like you have, pardon my language, you have cancer. The earlier you diagnose and you start the treatment, the better. That's the situation we find ourselves.
I remember as a 17-year-old on the Lagos Island at night buying foods in nylon bags. And so I saw the story break that alternative to styrofoam, now marketers, food sellers are moved to using nylon bags. So we'll buy pap during our way in nylon bags and break our fast by the Moshalashi Jimo and move on to buy my market before I go back to Lasude. So what are you doing? Is nylon bag a safe alternative?
No, not at all. Recyclable ones. Not all of them. They are recyclable, biodegradable nylons. We are going to. They are alternatives, and they know. So what we're saying is, we'll give you the window to transit. Okay. We'll give you technical assistance to help you. Loma will be fully involved in that engagement, and then
the market women,
yes,
food sellers,
fully. Loma, as I speak, is in the market. We've told them no enforcement, just keep enlightening them, start telling them why they have to transit to this. And that's what you just heard, that they are transiting. Now, are we saying, as a state, we can't take our decisions? No.
Yes, we can.
We can.
I have been in the environment for about 4 months plus. When I look at the budget and the amount we use to evacuate, it breaks my heart. And half of those things are these products.
Man-made.
Man-made. Look, waste management itself is a form of habit. We are going to build up that habit to let people see why they have to manage their waste properly. But what we have to do as a government, the policies we have to implement, let us also implement them. Let us be seen to be serious as a mega city that we are.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Who can make time stand still forever? Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay.
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink.
Huh?
No problem.
Okay.
I've always known this as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be,
yeah. I just said, look, I give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink! Wait, I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
It's final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final answer.
You don't have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
how many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now.
So, Have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. Yes, you women.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have the Honorable Commissioner here with us. I have two questions for you from Mr. Taiwo Adewale. He says, morning. My question for Honorable Commissioner is, what is happening to the Lagos State waste plastic policy that has been waiting approval from the House of Assembly and Governor's consent? That's one. Two, for the styrofoam recycling, we have recyclers who collect for recycling. Can styrofoam be recycled? But the major challenge is logistics. If I'm able to collect all in Badagry, how do I transport them to the facility in Ibutemeta? So he's talking about logistics of recycling. I'm not even sure recycled styrofoam can be recycled.
Taiwo, you can't recycle styrofoams. Let's answer that straight. For the first question, it's still ongoing, and I believe sometime this year we should have it closed.
Okay,
but for styrofoam, you can't recycle styrofoam.
What are all of the other recyclable ones? Because let's go into the recycling for a second. Plastic is another major problem. Bottles and all that. People are collecting and trying to say, how is that? Is there a system in Lagos to...
No. See,
enable that.
We're having an ongoing conversation on our waste management. And I believe in the next few weeks, max by end of February, we should have a closure. The closure is to get a proper company that will handle our waste treatment.
Okay.
Once that is done, then we can have this conversation properly. Because there are values you can get from plastics. You can recycle some of them. Those that are organic, you can make them organic fertilizers. We've had that conversation. We've seen it done in a neighboring country. Okay. I want to replicate it here. So I believe in the next few weeks we should have it. We should have them on ground in Lagos.
So go ahead.
So we have the Lagos State support on recyclers in Lagos. And we know there are businesses, around Lagos already. Along that Alimosho area, you see them picking bottles. They tell that it's very profitable, that area of business. And yet we have the ministry dealing with this. Are you dealing with, the piles of waste where they pick from first so that they don't recycle and create more of this that you're talking about?
Now, you're talking about two different questions. Now, to even recycle, we need to be endorsed and approved by the ministry. So the ministry have done that. We give you a site where you can use. The one in Lalimosho, I think we gave to a company from the UK. I remember. Now, if you go to Olusosun, you find them, you have small companies working around there. But now we want to have a collapsed system, fully organized. And I'll tell you why. Well, Lagos is spending so much on these dump sites. But Lagos is not making anything out of the dump sites. It should not be that. It's as though we're just taking money to manage the dump sites. But with the structure we're trying to put in place, Lagos will get value from waste.
Okay.
The composite waste, the organic waste, we say to them, okay, if you take these plastics and you make them disposable or waste disposal bins, then we'll give our citizens. Then we'll start talking about the culture of waste management from that angle. Then the organic waste becomes your fertilizer. It's been done in the neighboring country. We are engaging them fully to see how we can replicate that in Lagos.
Let me take Doyin. Good morning, Doyin. Thanks for calling. You're live.
My name is Toyin.
Oh, Toyin. I do apologize. Toyin, go ahead, please.
Yes. First and foremost, I want to thank the Honorable Commissioner for the job that he's doing. And I want to bring to the notice of the public that truly the government has initiated ban on all this material about 2 years ago. In fact, I on my page have published it several ways. May I also drop here there are enough beyond Styrofoam, even the pure water sachet. I'm an industrial chemist with emphasis on plastic pollution. If I tell you the danger on those things, you will run away when you see one. So that is why we need to support the state government heavily. And for me, when you look at the economic, I've been on my page, I've posted a lot. The private organization need to come and rescue.
All right.
So,
thank you very much, Tony, for your comments.
So,
you see, no vex.
Okay.
He said pure water. Are you banning pure water?
We still get there.
No, we have to prepare our mind. We have to prepare Nigerians. Pure water is a major factor in our lives.
Styrofoam, we're doing that immediately. Okay. For the other non-biodegradable elements, we'll give them a window to phase them out. And then we'll start encouraging them to use plastics.
That's English. So pure water, for example, now, it's just in case. Yeah, we know it's not biodegradable. Degradable.
Yes.
Now, what are the options that Nigerians that are cheap, equally cheap for Nigerians to use?
Now, that's why I said we're going to encourage them to use plastics. There are plastics that you can refill your water.
Exactly.
Carry your water.
Well, growing up, we go around with these things.
You mean dispensers?
Water dispensers too. We go around with these things growing up. We need to make a choice between our environment, our health, and
what is convenient for us.
What is convenient for some of us.
What is the purchasing power of our larger population? Because this pure water...
It's not dispenser thing you're talking about with the machine. No. The dispenser without the machine. You can have the bottle yourself. Carry it without a dispenser machine.
I'm coming. I hear all of that. You know, when we sit down and talk, my mind is with those who I know might not be able to do this switch.
But they switch to pure water.
Pure water is already expensive as it is. They don't have an alternative.
Thank you.
It's why they buy it. Even when it was not existing, we were tying nylon.
Ice water.
Then there was water corporation. We will go to a particular place where water corporation was opening tap and be fetching bottles.
Let us save the money for
I had one blue bucket in Ibadan State. Then I used to go and fetch our water that we would drink. We will buy the water from water tank. So are those the options that you will leave Nigerians with?
Now, water
take out pure water.
I can say to you, is coming back fully.
Nice.
The chassis water.
Lagos is big.
I'm coming.
Channeling.
No, we're working on our water corporation. Okay. And we're doing them in bits and pieces. Because what we met, and I want to say, the appointment of Engineer Mukhtar Tijani are really giving new life to the place.
Okay.
So we've done Abeson. The chassis is coming up this month or next month. Okay. Then hopefully the major ones are the ones we have at Tiju. Before the end of the year, we should have them fully ramped up. Okay. This requires a lot of money. And that's why I'm saying again, the money we're spending
cleaning up
can be used for other options. You have to draw your opportunity cost in economics and say to yourself, this is my scale of preference. These are my priorities. Health, environment, trumps what some few businessmen and some people that want to use Styrofoam to eat. You can use it. But you can't use it in Lagos.
So let me ask. We know we are peculiar people.
Because we want to be peculiar.
We want to be. And
that's why when we travel,
we change.
We behave from the other side.
Yes.
And come back on our way back, when we get here, we start
from the airport, yes. So I know that after the ban takes effect, because we're peculiar people, some people will still use their strong head and smuggle these plastics or the Styrofoam in, right? Is there any plan? What do you foresee that happening, and what plans do you have to stop them?
We will allow the law to take its course, I can assure you. And we will not cherry pick that enforcement. We will not also clamp down in a very indecent way.
Okay.
But the enforcement will start in about 2 weeks' time. What we do in the interim is let the engagement continue.
Okay.
We're going to meet, we have met with MAN, we've met with restaurant owners, we're going to meet with NECA by next week and some of the other stakeholders. And we're going to stand and tell them why we are doing it. If this moratorium had been on for about 2 years, and none of the producers had even been responsible to the environment, then why should the government fold in hands and not save the citizens' health, environment, and the aquatic life? This is a coastal state. You need to go on the water. I don't go on the water, but I have videos of people that go on the water. It's heart-wrenching. So let us face it. Let us address it. If you don't address it today, you're going to address it someday.
So would there be people going to prisons, arrests?
Let the law take its
course.
I just want to,
so that Nigerians are prepared.
The enforcement will be done the way the law allows us to do it.
So read the law.
And that's why those manufacturers also, we are going to engage them. We are still engaging them. In fairness to man, the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, they said yes, they know. They've been begging for this moratorium for years. They want more. We can't give you more we know than what we're giving you for over 2 years. We had a meeting with them. We can't. The longer it takes, the health implication, the environmental implication is something we can't quantify.
Yes.
And Lagos is Lagos. This is Lagos.
Okay, so I want to go to the, you mentioned a few people that the engagement has touched, but the engagement did not touch the Ewagoin seller that is at our junction, the rice and beans seller, that those people that are selling in front of their houses or in front of a school or in front of all those places. And I am scared of how the implementation will go, where they will pour the rice and pour everything because they are using styrofoam. And we cannot afford that because people are indeed struggling. And I recollect the last enforcement that we frowned upon here, where people's tomatoes and people's yams were all scattered. They are back there, by the way. But let's just say that.
They're not back there. They're not there.
If we drive past the same.
No, they're not there. They clear the ones on the right. They've now moved to the left where they are paying properly. That's where Yellow is and his people. Back over.
So we have scattered their business at that time. Many of them went into debts, and we don't want that to happen to majority. And I know, at least I know 5 that they are single mothers, and this is how they feed themselves with those foods. I don't want us to find ourselves in that situation. So how do we want to implement with the grassroots people, not the man, not the super...
Okay, Tope, I'll be honest with you, the advocacy will continue, and the engagement will continue. Okay. We'll keep engaging them, we'll keep telling the community leaders, the CDAs, the CDCs, the market women, why we're banning, and then why they have to switch to the option. Growing up, you go and buy your Ewagoin from with a plate from your house. What happened?
And so can we go there? I want you to commit that they will not scatter their food. They'll just collect the styrofoam from them.
Be rest assured. No, be rest. That's why I said the engagement will continue. Be rest assured they won't do that.
Okay.
Look, there's a human face.
So you want to cancel takeaway?
Collect the video.
You want to cancel takeaway?
It's already cancelled.
This one that we are going with our plate, takeaway is that you come here, you take away.
If you have the biodegradable one, take away. You can go and buy with it. But this styrofoam,
So the big guys, you say you're engaging restaurants, because I know if you came out to say,
bring your plates.
Bring your plates, and they're stocked up already. Now, maybe they could be scapegoats, because when we started seeing you shutting down some of these big guys, but of the big guys, how responsive have they been so far?
Very responsive. Very, very. And I think they've been expecting it.
Okay.
Chicken Republic came out and endorsed it, that they've been on this for a while. Okay. And I know most of them have been supportive of it. You see, even at that, Morayo, what is the population vis-a-vis 22 million people that we're trying to save their lives? I'm not saying people don't have a choice to make. You do have a choice to make. You have a choice to start to go and use this to buy food. But mine is, don't use styrofoam in the States.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to let this thing go down to the grassroots. You see, it's easier for people to say, that woman selling there, we're going. That woman had been there, like the Elewa Shakon. She's been there forever. What was the modus of using to sell? At the beginning. What changed? It's the convenience. I'm in a hurry, I want to quickly buy and go and eat somewhere. When you buy and go and eat, where do you throw that package?
Where is the somewhere?
You know those people in opposite Mosholashi in Lagos Island? Let's sweet potato.
Yes, now.
Roasted yam. Roasted yam and potato.
Those potatoes were also sold in papers.
Next,
the newspapers.
They also sell in papers. There's a woman, orange,
degradable.
Red, buy in the styrofoam. Man.
You use carry up.
But you know, the point is, at the point I was making, when you go to the market, I went to the market to go, I didn't go and carry plates. I went to the market to go and buy. So I was now hungry.
Then eat there.
The styrofoam they will give me to breathe there.
No. They'll give you. They'll give you China plates.
Yes, to eat. Eat there.
Eat.
No, I don't want to eat those
when you
plates.
finish, the water that they are using to wash the plate is why we are using. Why we trust styrofoam.
Carry your cooler.
We eat Ghana right now, and we eat Mama Eba.
Yes,
I eat
1K
Mama
and
Eba
all
now.
that.
The water.
And I eat Mama Eba. I will go and
See,
eat
the
Mama
water
Eba.
they used to cook it is the water when you pass where they are washing plates. You will choose takeaway. That's
exactly.
But the water they used to cook
is
will change as
my point is that I'm trying to ask the question so that it doesn't turn out to be like the Okada bar. What are you going to do? How are you going to encourage Nigerians to, on their own, reject this?
That is where the advocacy.
So that you don't meet me. I've already bought. I leave the woman.
That is where the advocacy comes in and is continuous. That is where the engagement comes in and is continuous. That's why we need to do a culture reorientation.
Very important.
Look, we've been on this for a while, and I will say to everybody, I see no reason why a reasonable person wakes up in the morning, goes to the middle of the road to throw down his waste.
As in, it's heartbreaking. I
see no reason why people wake up in the morning, you just go to your drainage part and throw your waste in it.
Makes no sense.
That's your environment. Makes no sense. But it's a culture people have imbibed over the years, as a culture of impunity. So what we're doing is a form of reorientation and enforcement. We're dangling the carrots and we're wielding the stick. So we're not just bringing the stick, we're doing more of the carrot. Deploying PSP operators into the system. Where we know there are issues, we tell them, Loma, you are a regulator, but you have trucks, go intervene, mop up. So we're doing this, and we're trying to make them realize that this is your environment, you must keep it clean.
Talking about that, let me because I know Tokwe mentioned something very important. I think it was it last week when we were talking about this thing, about how things used to be doing fashion last time, or how we can actually separate from home. They tried it, where they were able to separate waste from the house, but nobody is doing that anymore. So how do we do
you know why?
Yeah.
Waste management is a culture. You go to England, you have a blue, you have a black, you have a green. You know what the tree signifies. You know what to put in this bottle, spoons, and one your regular waste in your nylon, and the other one is for your paper waste. It's a culture they built over the years. And that's where we're saying, our next phase of advocacy, once we engage the companies, let us start building that culture for our people. Let us start reorientating them. It even goes beyond the waste. It goes to the way we handle the environment. Somebody wakes up, right, there's a canal behind my house. I want to start filling that canal to have it. That is a culture we've come to see people deploy. And we are saying, as a government, we won't fold our hands and let this impunity continue. So it's something we have to build on, and that advocacy will not stop. That's why I'm saying styrofoam enforcement will not start immediately, but it will start next month. But whilst we're doing that, the engagement for the market women, associations, CDAs, so we don't hurt them too badly.
While we were laughing just now, I remembered I've always come here to call out the people on the Oshodi Expressway and the Badagry Expressway, because when I drive in the morning, you will see somebody in Jalabia, meaning that I'm just assuming by default that you just finished praying. Carry a bag and stand on the road and be pouring it. And then one night, my rice truck came late, and I went out at 12 midnight. I saw Loma, 12 a.m. Packing. So once they finish cleaning up, you go in the morning again, you pour. You know, so that part of the enforcement should be immediate, and it should be as early as that 6 o'clock that they are pouring, because they assume. I've never seen anybody being arrested. Sadly, since I have been driving.
We've convicted over 200 in the past 4 months. We've convicted
on that.
We've convicted for these infractions, waste infractions.
Okay, your comment here from, I don't know if he wants me to mention his name, but let me. He says that great initiatives, but please note that the most effective regulatory and enforcement mechanism is through the local government administration. They must buy into it, or else a state bureaucracy leading this initiative and doing it alone will find it very, very overwhelming to achieve. Even abroad, they use local governments. They are done by local governments. This was done by Shegun Akabasho.
Thanks, Shegun. Luckily, we are engaging the local government. Last night, as at 9:30, I had a meeting with the chair for local government, Barrister Alabi, and we agreed to have a meeting sometime next week. So we have their buy-in into all these projects. And they have also seen it's in their own interest. Those markets are in their locality. Most of the tertiary drainages are in their own terrain. We are intervening as a state because we can't fold our hands. And then we see the bigger picture.
There's a larger part we have not captured. We were talking earlier on the first topic on mindset of kids from basic school. We see desensitization addressing adults, but young children...
Loma is in schools every day of the week now. The Loma Academy is in schools every day of the week.
Public schools or private schools?
Public schools. Public schools.
You see the picture of the three colors of the waste bin collectors should be in a textbook where private schools, it should be free material. Because when I tell my child, you'll be looking at me. Like,
I also think it is.
I'm the one who has
all the suggestions we take was textbook. Our textbook is going to be like this big.
Let them do it in their civic education.
So we were talking about getting people to talk about it. We are looking for brand ambassadors. Brand ambassadors will collect money. Go to radios, TV stations, they will collect money. Everything is going to cost more money. So, but if we have, like I know that for hand washing, a brand took it up as a company and we're now doing it as their marketing advocacy. So how about we partner with, so that we're not giving you what to cost you money, so that I'm actually giving you the money. So if you are able to get people that produce plastics that would be able to put, like I don't want to mention the brand name, but we used to have brands that were advertising that time. Like we had, let me use Bako Super Sack. Now, we had Bako. If Bako is saying, I have this biodegradable nylon that you cannot be using for food, and Bako is not the one sponsoring adverts on TV, in schools, everywhere. It's not costing us to spend taxpayers' money to be doing sensitization, but we're partnered, they get that opportunity. So
most companies are already having conversations with us. And it's for their own ESG too. So it's not because they love us, but because they know that they have to do it. There's a tax rebate on it globally. So it's an option they are exploring, and we are available to have that conversation with them.
Okay, we have to wrap up now. So what should we be looking at? Since you told us that this thing will happen in the next 6 months, give us an idea so we can prepare our minds. Now we come on tomorrow morning.
So we even stop buying them now before that time.
Let us start giving us an idea what the future is, so that we can start preparing our mind.
Thanks, Morayo. Styrofoam ban takes effect. We have 2 weeks to go. We start full enforcement. But in between the enforcement and the end of the year, the advocacy will continue, so we can keep engaging them at the local level, the world, and all our strata of people. But beyond that, the other single-use plastics that are biodegradable, we're not going to ban them immediately.
Example?
We allow them. They are cups, they are even nylon, cutleries, plastics that you can refill. We allow them. Now, we also start giving them options to say, these are the options you can follow. Give them technical assistance. But by and large, we want Lagosians to see this in the interest of the bigger picture. Not in the interest of that businessman that wants to make profit. Not in the interest of that young man that feels, I just like to eat with Styrofoam citizens. It's so much more at stake.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
It was a
very
pleasure
much.
having you on the show. Thank you for always enlightening us on this.
Thank you for having me.
That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Sachets. It has a thick formula, so all you need is just one sachet for your toilet bowl. It gives 10 times better cleaning and big savings